Hello and welcome everyone to another tutorial of Code Slice for Kivy. Yeah, so at the moment I am beginning a new series which is going to be how it's going to be structured is I'm going to be sharing some apps that I have made, and then I'll also give everyone a link to my GitHub source code so that you can go on, copy it and just check it out. So feel free to do so. So in this tutorial what I'm going to be showing everyone is I'm going to be showing you a calculator that I designed a while ago. Yes, it's called the CS calculator. I would like to give you a test. Can you guess what the CS stands for? I'll give you 10 seconds. It stands for Code Sliced. Yes, this is Code Slice. So please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'll definitely give you guys new content, fresh content. And also, please also do say what kind of tutorials you'd like. And then I'll be sure to make more tutorials tailored for you. Yes, so let's get on into our tutorial that we have here. So what we have the CS calculator. Let's go on and open that. Okay, all right, so it's open. So as you can see, it's sort of like a simple calculator, because I did also add some extra buttons there, like your pi, your exponent button, and also changing the numbers to radians and degrees. Yeah, so let's go on and analyze this calculator. So at the top you can see, of course, your labels. So the Kivy scientific calculator, version 0.0. So this is the first of its kind. Okay, on the text input there, as you can see, it's written there, error. By the way, you can't really type inside of this text input because it's a read only, so which means you can only read. Yeah, so anything you put there, it's based on what you type on the buttons. So let's go on and clear that, which is our first button. So this is the clear button that I'm pressing now. This is the clear, just for clearing. Yes, and then let's say you type numbers. Let's say you want to type, let's say 450, right? But maybe you type an 8 by mistake. Then you can use the delete button there just to delete the last input that you had. And if you want to just erase everything on the screen, you can use the clear button right there. Yes, and of course the percentage button, I think everyone knows. So you can just convert anything to a percentage. So usually the formula for a percentage basically it's, let's say you want to get a percentage of something. So usually you would put in let's say your value over the total value, right? Okay, let's say maybe you want to know what is 2%. 2% of 3. 2. What is the percentage of 2 over 3? So what you can do is you can just do that, and then you can go on and calculate that. So when you calculate that, it will give you a value, but that's not the percentage yet. By pressing the percent, it will give you the percent, which is 66%, as you can see. And then we have the positive negative button. Just basically, if the value is positive, then it will just make it negative. And you can press it, it will change back and forth. Yes, so I used a lot of if statements on this button. If you look at the source code, it will definitely give you more in terms of like how I structured it. Yes, but basically, let's say you have 1 plus 1. So when you press the plus negative button, look at what it does. You see, what it will do is it will change the plus into a minus. So since it was 1 plus 1, now it changed into 1 minus 1, and that's why the answer is 0 there. Yeah, so what happens is that it changes the positive to a negative, and then it calculates the value for you. Yes, and of course we have pi here. So if you press pi, it will give you the value. It will give you the value, the pi value. Yes, and then of course exponents. So let's say you have 3, and then you want to say 3 to the power of 2. So you can just go on and press the exponent button, and that will give you to the exponent of 2. Can you guess the answer? Let's see what the answer is. It's 9. Yes, because 3 to the exponent of 2 means that you will times 3 2 times. All right, so that's what an exponent means. So which means 4 to the exponent of 3 basically means that you're going to have 4 times 4 times 4. Okay, let's see what the answer is. It's 64, right? Yes. So let's try and see what I'm saying is correct. So 4 times 4 times 4 is going to give you 64. That's how an exponent works. This is not a maths tutorial, so please don't be afraid. I know that sometimes maths can be scary. Don't be afraid. Speaking of maths, I did use the maths module here. So in order for you to convert values to radians here, radians or degrees, you need to use the maths library. So you'll see in the source code that I imported the maths library. So you can also just go on and import that. Yes. So for instance, if you have a value, let's say you have degrees, right? So I'm going to press the degrees. By the way, if you look at the buttons, before I explain that, the buttons, there are 2 different kinds of buttons I'm using here. So for the radians and the degrees, I'm using the toggle button, which means when you press it, it stays down, and then when you press it, it goes up. The reason for this is sometimes when you're doing calculations, you might forget what values are you dealing with. So this will help you with that. So for instance, if you are dealing with degrees, then you might just as well as press the degree button, just for you to be aware of what you are working with, and then the radians and so forth. Now going back to importing maths. So when you import maths, and now let's say you want to get the radians, let's say you want to get you convert degrees into radians. So what you can do is, let's say you have 80 degrees, right? Sorry, let me just clear that. Let's say you have 180 degrees. So to convert 180 degrees into radians, what you do is you just press radians. You see, it will convert it for you. All right. Yes. And then if you have a value, let's say radians, let's say 3.1, and you want to convert it into degrees, you can just press the degree button. So in this case, it's an error because the value that I put, of course, it was not proper. Yeah, but as I said, this is not a maths tutorial, so I'm not going to try to figure out why it's an error. But yes, so the reason why it says error there, it also means that the calculations, there's something wrong with the calculations. And for that, in order to call out and catch up errors and things like that, you'll see in the source code, I used a lot of if statements and also using try and except as well. Yes. And then what you have here on the right side, I have the operators, the Python operators, which is your division, of course, or your multiplication, and then your subtraction and addition. I believe that everyone is familiar with these. I won't really show everyone how these work. If you don't know how these work, I tell you need to go back to the basics because you need to know how the operators work. Because whatever app you are building, you will definitely need to work with operators and stuff like that. So just always make sure you know those. All right, and then at the bottom, of course, we have the equals button, and then we also have the comma. Yes. And then if you look at the comma button, I've made it in such a way that you can't really have more than 1 commas in the calculator. This is just so that to prevent having a lot of errors. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I've been working on. Please do check it out. Go get into GitHub. You can copy the link. You can check it out and see what you can do. You can even also just put in a pull request, edit it, and see how you can improve the code. Yeah, but ultimately, this is definitely for public purpose. You can use it. Yeah, and from Code Slice, that is it. Once again, comment, like, subscribe. Have an amazing day, guys. Stay safe, and Happy New Year.